Welcome to the Blissful Life, a podcast where we awaken the wisdom of self and explore the lessons, the rituals, and the pathways to inner bliss. I'm your host, Regina Lawless, former corporate executive turned author and spiritual teacher. And I'm on a mission, y'all, to help people connect to and express their divine self so they can make their unique impact on the world. If you've been feeling like there is more to life than the hustle and grind, then you found your tribe. It's time to breathe and relax into the blissful life.
Welcome back to the Blissful Life. I'm your host, Regina Lawless, and I have a special guest on the show today. Her name is Ali Greenberg, and she is the co-founder and head of marketing and messaging of a joint venture that she and her husband, Jamie, lead called Capitalize on the Differentiator Rooted in You. And if you've watched episodes of the show, you would have seen Jamie. So that Jamie's episode should have come out before you see this. If you didn't see it, go back and check it out. For the past 15 years, they've helped coaches and consultants package, market, and monetize their unique expertise. On a personal note, Ali is the composer, lyricist, and book writer for the musical dramedy What About Me? She's also the author of the book Life Sucks, Just Kidding, among which I love that name.
I was going to do that with the head.
Right. And she has other creative projects, which we're going to talk about. Welcome to the show, Ali.
Oh, thank you, Regina. It's such a pleasure to be here and to see you and to talk to you. And I'm very excited about this.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that it's like a twofer. I got the pleasure of having Jamie come on, and now I get to have you. And if people watched that previous episode, they'll know that I came to know both of you through your business.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had the pleasure of working with the two of you. I was in a stage in my business, in my company, Bossy and Blissful, where I was doing all this custom coaching and programming, and you all really helped me to, really hone in on, my market positioning and come up with a beautiful program that is repeatable and scalable. And now I'm kind of building on that and going into other avenues. But you all came to me at a time where I was clueless on how to monetize. How to do that. How to clarify how to monetize. So.
Well, I just have to say you were like one of our favorite clients because you always came ready to receive. You always came ready to make changes. You always came ready with the creative spirit, in full force. As we did something that was new to you. You never did it before, and you had to be comfortable being a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning as we started a whole new process with you. So, and I always loved you always came with a smile. You always came ready to work and ready to really create the best possible product. So, the two of us just really love you. So it's a real honor here to be supporting your work as his podcaster too.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, likewise. I adore both of you. And what I found so cool, not everybody can work with their spouse. So I think that's like amazing that the two of you work together, and that seeing you all work as a client, what I found is you both have a unique genius, and that comes out. Like, you have very defined skill sets and just brilliance that you bring. And so it made me curious, did it start out that way, or did you develop your own kind of swim lanes over time?
I think because we've been together for probably 40 years now, and we first started out doing a children's theater show that we toured all over the country for a long time. But, we both came in with skills, and we were very aware of what Jamie was good at. We were aware of what I was good at. And when we were putting businesses together, it was about figuring out who would do what. It was a conversation. And then there were times where we started to do things, and I found that I may be better at it than he was. So then I would take over that part. Or he found that he was better at it than I was, so he would take over that part. So it's just been a real journey of learning about each other's skills. And also, as we're growing, because we've been together a very long time, you develop different skills as well.
Yeah.
There's certain
Yeah.
skills I'm doing now that I was like, if you told me 10 years ago I was doing that, I would say, "What? Are you kidding me? No freaking way." Um, so I think when you have an intention to work together, you find a way to make it work too. And we both have a vision. It's when you just keep your eye on the vision and then you figure out where all the little pieces come into play in terms of who's going to manage those pieces. It just works.
Yeah, it's clear that you all have a shared vision and clearly a love and respect for one another.
Yeah.
And I think that's key. I love how you stated that it's both having a shared vision
Yeah.
and just the intention to work well together and to build this thing together, which
Yeah,
is really
definitely.
cool.
And we both have we're both very driven. We're both very committed. We're both very clear in terms of where we want to go. How
Uh,
we get there is sometimes has to change a little bit in terms of
yep.
what we each do.
So I would love to talk a little bit about this journey that you've been on. And I read that you started your career as an arts administrator.
Yep, I did.
And I was curious if it was performing arts because I read that you and Jamie had this entertainment business. So, yeah, I was just curious that journey of where you started and to where you are now.
Yeah. Well, I started out, I was always very creative. I went to performing arts high school. I was a French horn player, classical French horn player.
Oh,
And then I went to
amazing.
college and I wasn't into being a classical musician, but I got hooked up with a fine arts center. I became an intern at a fine arts center. So that to me I was always very kind of good at the left brain and the right brain stuff. So being an arts administrator was great. So I worked with this woman, Judy Allen, who I adored at this big fine arts center. And then I got a job at ICM Artists, which was a very big classical agency in New York. So I
Ooh.
left school a little bit early, finished up my degree outside of school, but finished it up and worked at the same time. And then went to Polygram Records. And then when I met Jamie, he was he was an artist. He wanted to get out and
Aw.
perform. And I had administrative background and also was a songwriter. I started writing music, so I was very into writing music. So we just kind of wrote a show together and I ended up doing a lot of the admin work and he went out and performed. So I was doing sales and admin and PR and all that stuff. And he was out on the road traveling all over the country for a very long time,
Wow.
actually. So
Wow.
it ended up again being a good matching that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked like
Yeah.
y'all naturally just it gelled and you found what worked and
Yeah. And I think
yeah.
too, Jamie needed the organizational person to come in. And for me, Jamie he was the person that was always pushing me to do my creative stuff. I didn't have a lot of
Mhm.
confidence as an artist. I just kind of I probably started writing songs about a year or two before we kind of got married and so forth. But he was always encouraging me to do the art stuff, which was great. And I was always supporting the business part of that too.
Oh, I
So
love
we did that
that.
for a long time. And the show was called The Cure for TVitis.
The
So you can tell how long ago this was. It was the 80s, early 90s. It was about teaching kids how to turn off their TVs and turn on their imaginations.
Oh my
So it was all
gosh.
about, that concept. For us, I was realizing every project we've done, it's always been about encouraging people to come from a very creative, soulful, authentic place. Whether it's,
Mhm.
teaching kids how to turn off their TVs, turn on their imaginations, or now working with coaches and consultants to really like tune into what is your differentiator. It's all about you. Let's figure out who
Yes.
you are and then bring that to the forefront and figure out how to create a business based on who you authentically are. So that I realized whatever business we've done, it's been very much about encouraging the originality of people and being able to step into their power in that way. We live in a very
Mhm.
systemized society where when what Jamie and I have done has been pretty much it's been on not on the
I'm like
cusp. It's been on
on the
outside of the
fringes.
box. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy. I have to tell you, it's really not always easy being
Mm.
an entrepreneur. You know this too.
Do I
There's
know
pros
it?
and cons. There's really pros and cons. But
Yeah.
you have to have a certain kind of, we didn't fit into the system and we didn't want to be a part of a system in a way that we couldn't express ourselves. in
Yeah.
business, in creative ways. We just wanted to have that opportunity to be able to really come to planet this lifetime and really be able to express the things that are in us that we feel we were given gifts, and that's what we're supposed to do, and uplift people at the
Mhm.
same time.
Yeah, and that's when you said expression. As soon as you said that, it hit me. That is the magic. That is the gift. And it sounds like the through line, to your point, through the various businesses that you all are here to
Yeah.
not only anchor your own creative expression, but to help other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've just come to realize how sacred that is
Mm.
to be in full, I guess, possession of yourself and to reclaim your abilities and your authenticity. That's why it was really fun as I worked with you all. You were able to, I think, mirror for me some of the things that I took for granted
Mm. Pull them
and
out really too.
pull them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so I love that that has been an organic journey. Like, you didn't just wake up one day and like, "Oh, we're gonna help people be unique." It this really is what you all have been
Yeah,
doing for a
and we didn't
lifetime.
yeah, and we didn't think about it that way. It was just more so like we were trying to do what felt good for us. And in
Mhm.
the same vein, we realized that as that was important to us, that we wanted to encourage other people to feel the same way. And whether, I can't tell you whether it's good or not good, but we've done the same thing with our kids. Our kids are both artists and out there expressing and entrepreneurs and doing their own thing. And
I love it.
it's exciting, but it's a tough environment to do that. I got to tell
Oh,
you, I love it because there's freedom in it to be able to create your own life in that sense too.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's really what's been very, very exciting. But there's certain things for us that we don't have. Like we don't have the ability to take 2 or 3 week vacations.
Yeah.
Our business is always going.
Yeah.
So even if we
Yeah.
go away for a week or 2, we're still working because
You're
nobody
still
else is going to be
kidding?
doing the business.
Yeah.
Or you're working
Yes.
on Saturdays or Sundays sometimes, or it's the kind of thing where you can't. It was really our first child,
Yeah, I
and that it
bet.
required that kind of attention too. But yeah,
Mm.
as I've gotten older too, I've seen the thread of who we are, how we show up, and the way in which we like to serve, for sure.
Mm. Well, it's interesting you mentioned, the business being your first child. You also have physical children.
Yes.
I have a soon to be 20-year-old, and I'm like, "My goodness, like, when does parenting stop? Does it ever? I don't think
No,
it does."
I had a friend, older person once say to me, parenting is a lifetime sentence.
Yeah,
And I think it's very, very true. It's
seriously.
very true, in a good way too, it's in
In
a
a
good
good
way
way,
too.
in a good
Yeah.
way, and also in an annoying way.
Yes.
But you
Well, you're still at that age where, like, I'm getting to
Yeah.
the point now, my kids are 26 and 33, so they've gone through that early 20s stages, which
Oh
I think is
gosh.
really challenging. 20s is
Mm.
like a rebirth.
Oh, it
They've gotta figure it
is.
out on their own.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
I
they have to
agree
take
with
care of
that.
themselves, they have to figure out how to be an adult. It's like the
Yes.
second birth,
Oh
in
my gosh,
that
that's a
sense too.
great analogy, and so, I bring all this up, your children, because you've been able to build this successful career in businesses, more than one, while being a wife and a mother, which I relate to,
Mm,
being a working mom,
yeah,
as a working wife and mother. And in my case, it's funny, we talked about expression earlier. It took me a long time to find any space to connect with myself and find those creative outlets and
yeah,
ways to express myself.
yeah.
How have you navigated that over the years?
Well, I think it was always, if I had extra time, that's what I would do. Now it's
Oh,
different, they're adults, they're out of the house. But
lucky
when I
you.
was working and I was also trying to do my creative projects and I was also taking care of the kids, it was challenging,
Yeah.
and things took a long time sometimes because I couldn't devote the amount of time that I wanted to the creative projects because we had a business, we had kids, and I was very devoted to my kids' well-being. I just felt that that was like for me, that was really the priority. I feel like I brought these
Mhm.
kids into the world. It's my responsibility now to really help them be the best they could be in that sense too. Teach them to be
Yes.
independent. They're very independent, but still know that they've got a secure foundation here with Jamie and I. They've got that rock solid, they know they can go out and we're always here,
Yeah. 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 I
and
believe that.
and I think that that's been helpful in terms of allowing them to be more independent too. And they're both very independent. They both have their own businesses. They're
Oh,
both artists.
amazing.
So, Lexi teaches first dances for wedding couples,
Oh,
and she teaches theater at the big performing arts center here in town. And
wow.
Chaz is a big DJ in Maine and is also a songwriter. So,
Oh my God.
they have their stuff going on. But I would say that, you know, I think I think having a good partnership, and I think knowing that there's 2 parents that are helping with the kids makes a big difference.
Mhm.
I always have great respect and great reverence for single moms,
Oh my gosh.
and I knew you were one for a while too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, I
and,
have
I always
been.
feel blessed I had at least Jamie there to help if I needed help. He
Yeah, it
wasn't on the
makes a
road or whatever, but
difference.
just knowing there was
Yeah.
that other person, but I really have great, like I said, great amount of respect for the single moms out there doing what they're doing.
Very much so, because I had my son, I was 24 when I had my son. It's interesting, my late husband, there still was kind of the traditional, so I definitely feel like a lot of moms, a lot of the housework, a lot of the extra mental load fell on me,
Yeah,
and maybe also because I was also the organized one and I was it's the one in corporate, so
most of the women are,
right?
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
like, we're having to make the doctor's appointments and,
yeah,
and do all the things, but at least if I really, really needed help, I could look to my husband and
yeah,
ask him for help. But when he passed, it was like
mm,
for the first time, I'm a single mom and having to make
yeah,
all of these decisions, and thankfully, I had family and friends that stepped in to help, but it gave me a new appreciation for how hard it must be, especially I became a single mom when my son was 15. I
yeah,
couldn't imagine having, little children,
yeah,
or more. I only have
more
one,
than
having
one,
more
yeah.
than one. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm with you. Like, utmost respect for the
Mm,
single moms, or dads for that matter. So I love that you were able to rely on Jamie as your partner and still be able to
just knowing
find
he
those
was there,
times.
just, like, knowing he was there, even though I
Yeah.
did most of it, I carried most of it, but knowing he was there, in that
Yes.
sense too. And I'll never forget, when my daughter was born, I would be on the phone booking our show, our theater show that we had, booking our show and nursing my daughter at the same time.
Yeah.
And because I was, like, into all the natural stuff and the nursing and the
Oh,
cloth
yeah.
diapers, so, like, it was, like, double torture, but it's the way I wanted to do it. But I'll never forget my mother said to me because I was really getting burnt out. She said, "You know what? You can't have everything. You just can't have it all at the same time." And I
Mhm.
thought that was a great piece of wisdom because I think a lot of us
Yes.
women folks feel like we're supposed to be able to do everything and have everything at the
Yeah.
same time, and we're kind of programmed into the superwoman complex.
Very much so.
So
Yeah.
that took a little bit of craziness off my head, remembering that when it got too much, like being able to say, "Okay, this is the priority now."
Mhm.
Keep your vision for what you want down the road, but this is the priority right now and just work towards it.
Yeah, very wise words from your mom, and I
Yeah.
agree. Like, I started to, especially by the time my husband passed away, it's like I cannot possibly do everything, and learning to ask for help or just being okay with my house is not gonna be clean all the time.
Uh,
I'm not gonna make a home cooked meal every night,
yeah.
like, and I'm not going to feel bad about it.
That's the key
So,
thing. That's the key thing is the
yeah.
guilt. The guilt is a big thing women have really taken
Yes.
on that burden, like we feel bad
Yes.
a lot
Yes.
about things. I
Yes.
think guilt and shame are two of the worst emotions
Really?
that we kind of put on humans in general,
Humans in general, and then, like, an
not just
extra
women.
heaping for, like, the women humans,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, very much so, and at the end of the day, that causes us to not only take on more, but lose our outlets, lose ourself, because we feel like we don't even have permission to take a break or have fun or
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny, we saw the movie The Intern the other day. It's like the second time we've seen this
Oh,
old
it's
movie.
such Yes.
She's the head of a huge company.
Yeah.
She's trying to run this huge company. Then she comes home and tries to deal with her daughter. But then she goes to drop her daughter off at school, and the other mothers are like giving her crap for
Yes.
not being able to go to the PT, make brownies or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, it's awful when other women don't support women. That bothers me more than men being idiots.
Then,
But when women
yes.
do that, I get so pissed off. But my
Oh,
point being
seriously.
that, she's an example of, the guilt she felt too, that she couldn't
Yes.
be there
And
now.
it's so real. First of all, that's a great movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. I
That's
really enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
And that scene is so real because you just made me remember when I was working mom and I tried to be on the PTA, but I remember this one meeting, I showed up a little bit late because I'm working and commuting, and the
Yeah.
stares I got are like just the side eye.
Terrible.
And I'm just like the audacity of you, not everybody can afford to be a stay-at-home mom
Right.
and sit
Right.
in their castle like,
Yeah, I
or
know. It's
whatever.
true. Yeah.
Like some of us got to go out and help pay the bills, but yeah, it's unfortunate that we internalize, but we also we're socialized. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and
Mm.
society certainly does it as
Well, we
well.
don't, but there are women out there that do.
There, exactly. We don't.
We don't.
We are girls we are girls.
Yeah. We take care of each other. We get it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, interesting. I have a feeling this conversation we're having maybe relates to the musical dramedies. I read earlier in your bio that you composed this dramedy called What About Me?
Mm.
I'd love to hear you share what the musical is about and where did the idea come from?
Well, it's really it's based on my life, but it was also at a time when so many women were frustrated with, oh my God, I've spent 25 years now doing my job. When is it my turn? Right?
Ooh,
Like, what
yeah.
about me? It
Yeah.
originally actually called Life Sucks, Just Kidding, because it was based on my book. It was based on
Nice.
my book that I wrote, where it's like, 15 different essays about things that suck. Parenting sucks, husband sucks, school sucks, spirituality. I mean, it was just
It
everything.
all sucks at some
Everything
point.
sucks at some point. And then, I come back to, there's kind of a lining at the end where I have a realization, and it kind of is more of a personal growth book. So
Mm.
the musical came because I remember saying at one point to Jamie, I said, all I want to do is write a musical, because that's really all I've wanted to do since we
Aw.
started together writing our children's show.
Yeah.
I wrote for our kids show. I wrote a tape called Recipes in a Song. Each tape has recipes for kids. If they learn the song, they can learn the recipe. Like banana shake, monster mashed potatoes, tahini cookies, different. If they
That's
learn the song,
awesome.
they know how to make the food. It's for younger kids, maybe kindergarten up.
Aw.
So I did that. I wrote a tape called We're Gonna Have a Baby. It's all about like my experiences right before you're gonna have a baby. I was wanting to sell that for parents. So I've always
Yeah.
been writing, but it's just been frustrating because between our business and the kids, I haven't been able to really pursue the type of career I wanted full time.
Yeah.
That's really, for me, that was the bottom line. So I
Mm.
started writing a story about this mom, Julie, who's like on the verge of this existential suburban breakdown. And she has a choice. She can either go to the psychiatric ward, or she can go to a personal growth retreat with Dr. Shiftenstein. So she
Love
goes to
it.
this personal growth retreat,
Mm.
comes back with all these great things that she wants to do. Now she quits her job and decides to write a musical. So she throws her family into total disarray. It's all about how this new change that she's come about with affects the family dynamics, and everybody's freaking out
Mm.
because mom is not making dinner. And mom is not responding. And mom is sitting in her office just wanting to do her stuff. So, her husband's freaking out a little bit because they have a daughter who's a performer, an artist, a struggling artist. My daughter's also a musical theater performer. So there was things based on that. And her
Aw.
son, who's
Yeah.
17, was a DJ, was, always, making too much noise in the house. Her father in his 80s would be the wise, he'd be the wise words of wisdom. He would always come with some
Aw.
wise, but he was a kooky character. And her husband was like freaking out because they have another kid that's going to college soon, and she just quit her job. So
Mm. Yeah.
meanwhile, my husband was very, very supportive. I didn't have that kind of a problem. But it's all about each of those people feeling like they have their own. It's mostly about Julie, but, you know, everybody in her family has their own vision of what they want to do. And they're not understanding that if they work as a collective, it's going to be a lot more possible for them each to realize their dreams than if they, if if it's just all about them. So it's like almost like, what
Mhm.
about me becomes what about us? And at the end, the family kind of comes together and supports each other. Julie writes a great musical, of course.
Yes, yeah. It should not
And
it
it
couldn't have been written
was
any other way.
it was really a labor of love. And again, it was done when I had time. It was done on the side. It took
Mm.
me years to kind of get it going, but I had a couple of readings. I put the show up twice, which was
Ugh,
great. And right when COVID hit was kind of when I was ready to go out, try to get some funding to put the show on. So
yeah.
that was like not going to happen with theater.
Uh,
Um, so it's still something that I'm gonna revisit,
I
but right now, we've just been
would.
building this part of our business so strongly the last
Yeah,
5 or 6 years. We've been doing it for a while, but we've just shifted and changed things, so
yeah,
that's been taking a lot of my time, and then the kids still required attention and so forth.
yeah.
But my new project is I just wrote a book called
Congrats.
thank you, called A How-To Guide to Co-Parent Your Dog.
Oh my
1 dog, 2 families, because that's what I did for a year and a half. Yes,
Really?
because I had this dog it was getting crazy. It's in the stories in the book, but it was just getting too much, and I couldn't take care of him the way I wanted to take care of him. He was
Oh,
just here all the time,
yeah.
I wasn't getting him out, I wasn't having play dates, I wasn't taking him on trips to Jersey City and taking him over at a hotel. It was like I know that's kind of a crazy thing, but I found this other woman, Lanny, who's my daughter's age, who really
Oh.
wanted to have a dog, but her husband didn't really want a dog and he wasn't used to having a dog. So we split the week up for a year and a half. So Zeus would be with them for half the week and then us for half the week. And they ended up, but anyway, it's our
That's
story.
so
It's our story. It's a beautiful story. Zeus brought me together with her family. I love her and her family. And Zeus now has like Lanny and Eric's family love
probably his
him. They travel
extended
all over the place.
family.
He goes to the Berkshires. He goes to the Finger Lakes. She has a ton of friends with dogs. He has other dogs. So it was just torturous because I just couldn't give this dog the time I really wanted to. So this worked out to be a great arrangement. So I just
Oh
wrote a
my
book about that.
god.
And I'm going to try to start, getting the book out. And also I want to put an app together. I
Uh,
want to put a dating app for people that want to co-parent a dog.
I
So that,
actually think that's brilliant. I mean,
yeah,
there's apps now where you can find like a dog sitter or a dog walker or whatever, but the co-parenting, I didn't even know that was a
it's
thing.
not a thing. I came
Um,
up with it. I came up with it actually. But then when I met Lanny suggested the idea and I was like, oh my God, there's another person who thinks like me.
Well, and it's funny, I wouldn't call it complete co-parenting, but my sister, so
Hmm,
after my husband passed away, my sister moved in.
okay.
And it was great because she was living about 2 hour, maybe almost 3 hours away. She was in grad school. Well, no, actually, this was before she started grad school. She was going to come to grad school in San Francisco, closer
Okay.
to where I lived. And I certainly needed some help managing all the things around the house. So she
Of
moved
course.
in. And Rocket is our dog's name. Rocket, of course, grew attached to her, and she grew attached to Rocket.
Ah,
And so, still to this day, we live separately. She still, at least once a month, comes and gets Rocket.
there you go.
So I'm like, I didn't even realize we were like co-parenting kind of
Co-parenting. Yep.
Rocket
Yep. Yep.
because
No,
she misses him too. So that's awesome. So wow. So
so I've
you
always got my hands in little creative
yeah,
projects.
I was gonna say like
So I
you're
can't totally
still
let go of that. That's a hard thing
no.
for me.
But
So
it's beautiful, and I was gonna ask you to that point, why do you think or especially for women who carry so much, why do you think it's important for us to have a creative outlet?
I think it's important if it's important to you. Some people don't need a creative outlet.
Mm.
You know, for me, I've been creative since I was a kid and I need to have something. And for me also, it's not just being creative because I want to be creative and I would like to make money on my creative idea. I'm
Well, there's
serious.
that
It's not just about like,
can
I'm not into just sitting here and writing a song. Like for me, when we did our kid show, it was a business.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also invented a pair of underwear a couple of years ago that I wanted to get sold, and that didn't kind of
I
happen either
love
because of
it.
other things that happened. So I've always been trying to create projects that can complement what we do here as well. Because for me,
Mm,
this is a business that we do, and I love working with our clients,
yeah.
but I do a lot of admin work.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
really
yeah.
want to have something that's a little bit more, and I want something that's mine.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I'm
can
saying?
relate
I
to
want
that.
something
I
that's
really
mine that reflects who I am, that
mm,
is, I can go out there and say, I did this and this is me. Jamie and I work together and this is a
yeah.
co-creative project, but I really want something that I can say is mine. I don't know why. It's just been
Mm.
something that's been very important to me for a very long time in that
I
sense too.
I really relate to that, Allie. Two things that you said stick out for me. I think one, if it's important to you, you read this advice or you see people say that everybody has to do this or it's good for everybody to do that. And I love your gentle reminder because we just talked about this. Women get bombarded with so many
Yeah.
shoulds, and so it's nice that you shouldn't necessarily have a creative outlet if it's not
Not
meaningful
your
to
thing.
you. It's
Yeah.
not your thing. So
Yeah.
find the thing that does light you up.
There you go.
Um, and I very much believe that there's power in having something that's yours, something
Yeah.
that you get to birth besides, your kids or your you're- but bringing something else into, manifestation in the world that is a legacy of yours, whether large or small. I think it's really cool to see when people can, whatever that thing is, that they can lay claim to or have ownership of. This is the thing that
That
I brought to the
reflects,
world.
and for some people, that's their children.
That
For
absolutely,
some people, it is their
absolutely.
children.
For
For
some
some
people, it
people, it
is
is what's brought a great deal of,
of
validity to them in terms
joy
of,
and
of how they've shown up on the planet. So I think
yeah,
everybody, I have to tell you though, for me, we're all creative beings every minute of every day. You know what
I
I'm
believe
saying?
that.
Even if you're making your bed, there's a element of
There,
creativity. You're
right,
doing laundry,
right.
you're doing this, you're doing your bills. The creative spirit is just, I think it's just an essence of who we are. We're creators.
We
I
are
think we were
creators.
created as creators,
I believe
honestly.
that.
I think that we
Absolutely.
are a fractal of a very big, huge creator up there. So for me, if
Yes.
that huge creator is creating me, then there must be a part of me that also wants to create.
Uh,
An engineer can be a creator, right?
yeah, absolutely.
It's not just about the arts. It's just about how you approach your day. It's like if you approach your day with a creative attitude, it's a lot more fulfilling, at least for me. I have to remember that too. So that's what I remind
Yeah.
myself too. Sometimes when I don't want to do things, I'm like, okay, how can I make this a little more creative so it feels like it's more, it's got some substance to me,
How can I put my spin on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, even like I find myself adding in the thing that does it does bring a creative element. So when I'm cleaning the kitchen or doing the dishes, I'll have music on because I love
Yeah.
music. And then
Yeah.
before you know it, I'm like dancing around the kitchen while
There
I'm doing
you
the
go.
dishes.
You're not the only one. I think there are a lot of people that dance around the kitchen. I've seen a lot of Instagram posts of people dancing around the kitchen. So
Yes,
you've got
yes.
company.
Yeah, yeah. And I do love that's certainly another thread that I found we have in common, just this spiritual nature. And
Mm,
I 1,000% agree that we are meant to be creators. And
yeah.
we are manifesting things whether we're intentionally doing so or not.
Mm.
We're always creating our environment. We're always creating things. And I do think it's more fun when you can knowingly come from that perspective of like, how can I even this arduous task, perhaps how can I make it more fun, more creative?
Yeah, because sometimes, it's like you can start to feel like a victim, like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do
Mhm.
this. But, if you can just just get in the present moment and just figure out how you can make it work for yourself a little bit better, you know?
Yeah. I interviewed someone before you on the podcast, and we were talking about this notion of feeling forced to have to do things.
Mm,
And Nitya is her name, and
pretty name.
she brought forth, yeah, beautiful name, beautiful spirit too. And she brought forth the idea of I get to. She said one of her
Mm.
mentors shared that with her instead of this, I have to do this, I have to do that, changing your perspective of I get to do this
Or I choose to do
or I
this,
choose to do this. Like
right?
choice
I
is
mean,
so
choosing
powerful.
and I am a real because I'm a writer too, I think words are just really, really powerful.
Mhm.
And I think,
Yes.
I'm not always great at it either sometimes, but I think the way we speak to ourselves, um, you even have to reframe the way you speak to yourself sometimes, not even to somebody else. It's
Yes.
how we speak to ourselves, like
Oh,
really, really finding those words that can really empower us.
yeah, and you are great at it. That's part
Oh,
of
thank you.
your genius is just word choice and using words that are evocative. You certainly helped me with that when you were helping
We
me
had
with
such a
my
good time.
we did. We
I hated when we finished. I was like, "Oh,
I'm
damn it.
like, "No, we're done."
No more Regina." I'm like, "Oh god."
Oh,
We
yeah,
always
because
had a
we were
good time.
we did, we were on a roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, you helped me be very precise with the
Mm,
language, and, yeah, I'm a firm believer too. It's actually more important, I think, the way we speak to ourselves, because I think if you can speak to yourself positively, I think that reflects in how you speak and interact with other people.
very much so.
And I try to catch myself too real time. Like even things we have common sayings like, "Oh, go figure that something's bad is gonna happen," or I forget, it was just the other day I was saying something like that, like in the negative of like, of course it doesn't happen for me," and I caught myself and I was like, "No." I reframed it. It's like, "No, I'm not speaking that into
Yeah, but that's
existence."
that's the thing is that you catch yourself. That's the whole key. Like, I don't think any of us are gonna ever be perfect.
No,
But the
no.
fact is that if you're aware and you know when it's
Mhm.
happening, and sometimes even I find, like, even if I'm aware, sometimes it's really hard for me. I can't get out of it right in that moment.
Ah, it
But I
is.
know that, okay, I gotta go listen to a podcast, or I gotta go listen to this, or I gotta bring
Yes.
another voice in my head right now to help me shift into where I wanna be. So that's helpful
Oh.
too,
Oh,
you
that's
know?
such powerful advice. I similarly, I will you're right, because sometimes you just can't. You're holding something heavy and you
Mm,
can't shake it. So I will try to listen to music that uplifts me or inspires me. I definitely go to YouTube and find like my spiritual podcasts or different
yep,
voices
yep,
that just zoom out or help me to zoom out and see the bigger perspective.
yep.
And if none of that works, I usually give myself 24 hours just to be in a shitty mood and and then I'm like, "Okay,
I
now I'm
like
gonna
that.
snap out of it."
24 hours, alright, you have 24 hours
Yeah,
to be in a shitty mood.
yeah,
Time yourself.
and sulk and everything sucks, and then
Well,
okay.
I heard a great line. I don't know if I think we turned you on to RJ Spina before,
You did,
but
who's
he said
yeah.
something like sometimes he says things like, "Whoa, that's really good." But he said that the victim mentality overestimates overestimates what they don't have and underestimates what they do have.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, I feel
I like
that.
that. I think it came up it just came to me as you were talking because I think that that's one of the problems when we get into those 24-hour sulky moods is
Yes.
that we're overestimating what we don't have, right?
Yeah.
We're just thinking about what we don't have, what's not happening, and for me, that was helpful too, just to think of it that way too.
Mhm.
The
Ah,
victim, because I've really been my path, because I've done a lot of personal growth work too, is really to I'm really looking to get out of the matrix and get out of this whole victim mentality in terms of,
oh,
how free liberation, like
liberation.
get out of my mind and into my heart and into my power and just let go of that thinking. The
Mhm.
thinking is not serving a lot of times, but
No, and I've had to learn that the hard way. I think being, more intellectual
mhm,
leaning,
mhm.
I tend to overanalyze
Yeah.
or, overthink and wanna have a plan A to a plan Z. And it's like, okay, which is exhausting to try to, you know, game out everything and think of all the scenarios. And once I started to let go and really learn to meditate and then have
Trust.
trust, and
Yep.
then answers would drop in that I could have spent weeks working on something, and
Yeah.
now I meditate, I get like the answer just downloads, and I'm like, oh my
Fantastic.
gosh.
Well, you're one of the lucky ones because I can't say that a lot, that it's a great gift that you have now.
Thank you.
That
Thank
you can
you.
hear that. You can hear that and experience it and
Oh,
tune into it. It's so funny because I
yeah.
always say to Jamie, like, damn, I'm like a writer, I'm a word person. I just want to hear, I want to hear like another energy talking to me that gives me all this great information. And then I was hearing another teacher say, sometimes it comes in different ways, like signs or something
Yes.
happens. It's not necessarily words. And I was like, yeah, but I'm a freaking word person.
Exactly
Please
right. Tell
give me the words. I'll take the
I'll
words.
take the
I don't want the
words.
signs. Don't give me the signs. I want the words.
Right. The butterfly is nice, but I like
Thank you. Thank you. How do I know that? How do I know it's a sign? Sometimes it's like, I don't know that's a sign. How? No, I know. Anyway,
Well, keep at it. I find it's interesting, and
but I'm
I
jealous.
know.
My point is, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm jealous that you get those downloads and I can't.
Oh man, Allie, let me tell you, it's been a wild ride
I'm sure.
to get to that point, and I'm starting to share more on the podcast of like it started with just little messages to like full on transmissions that
Love it.
I write when I meditate. And so, it's a beautiful gift that has been unlocked. It's funny. I was talking to my fiance the other day, and he used the metaphor of it's like Super Mario Brothers because we grew up in the 80s and 90s, and so
Yeah.
he's like, when you get to a level of the game and you unlock a new like
You
feature.
it puts all those little funny things on the screen, like,
Yes,
then
that's
you
what I
get to
was
the
like.
next level.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, it's like when you like when the star for all the people listening who used to play Mario Brothers, it's like when you get the star and then all of a sudden you're like busting through all the barriers and like like all
Oh
this
God, you're bringing
magic
back
and
memories.
so it
Whew.
does. I feel like because I've, been meditating now for a number of years and doing yoga and really doing,
Inner
like you
work.
said, a lot of personal
Inner work.
development, a lot of inner work. I
Yeah.
think that has unlocked the next level of the game. where,
Amazing. It's like you're
where
lucky because a lot of people don't always get there, so it really is an incredible gift,
Yeah, thank you for that. And
Yeah,
that's a
no.
beautiful reflection. That's also what I've been grappling with because I think it is rare in this day and age that people spend the time and practice a
Mm,
thing. And that's what I came to reflect on. It has been through daily practice of sitting with
yep,
myself and meditating
yep.
and investing in myself and my spiritual connection that this has happened. So I do think that would be my, I guess, one takeaway I share with people as I've been coming out of the spiritual closet, if you will,
Yeah.
and letting people know that I channel and get these spiritual downloads is that it's a process. It's taken a lot of practice and dedication,
Yeah, it's like there's never
hours
an
and hours and
overnight su
hours.
there's
Mm,
never an overnight success. I mean, you
yeah.
look at Eckhart Tolle, who was
Oh
about to commit
gosh.
suicide, right? I mean, he had to
Ah,
go all through all that to or then
yeah.
there's Llewellyn, somebody else who's ended up in a psychiatric hospital and then came back and, I mean, there's never an overnight success, even for anybody in any kind of business. Everybody and the thing is,
Absolutely.
people don't get it's not just about attracting, it's not just about meditating. You gotta put the time and the work in. There's
Mhm.
will, there's determination,
There
there's
is.
commitment, there's dedication, there's devotion. It's not just
Ugh.
like, "Oh, I'm just gonna sit here and meditate, it's all gonna happen."
Right?
You have
No.
to take action. You have to take
That's
action and
you
you have to be very
have
self-disciplined.
Yes, very much so. That's one of the and I don't know the actual Bible verse. There's still some parts of the Bible that are just so beautiful and poignant. And
Mm,
one of the lessons I've always gravitated towards from the Bible is faith plus works. So you yes have faith, yes pray, yes have devotion, but also there
it's
needs to
like you
be
gotta move your
some
feet.
you
What
got
is
to
that?
move your
What is
feet.
that? There's that saying, right? You gotta do something, but you got to move your feet,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I love that. So coming full circle in this
Yeah.
conversation, you and Jamie, of course, help people to identify their unique differentiator
Right.
or identifier. What advice would you give someone who wants to express themselves more clearly in their business or career in the ways that you all have? Not only, I mean, you help people all day, every day, and
Yeah.
you and Jamie are an embodiment of that because you found a way to express yourself in your own business. So how would you help someone who's just not sure where to begin?
Well, as a writer,
Yeah.
I always tell people to write down your strengths, write down things you love to do, write down things that you're not good at. Just start to like really identify with writing. Just put yourself on a piece of paper. For us, when we have a client come in, I always say, like, we're taking all your puzzle pieces, we're putting it on the table, and now we're picking out the pieces to make a final puzzle for you. So for me, it's
Ooh.
really about people really sitting down and looking at themselves and really figuring out who they are. And sometimes the problem is that, it's like a dentist, he can't work on himself, right?
Right.
Sometimes you can look at things, but you can't always figure out what your differentiator is. That's where we
Yeah.
come into play in terms of business wise. But if somebody just wants to start to explore how to figure that out, to me, it's just a matter of putting all your pieces out on the table. Everything,
Mhm.
personal, business, strengths, weaknesses, things you like, things you don't like, um, your favorite ice cream flavor. That's a real big one for us too.
Oh, that's good.
We actually have you ever tried Vienna Mocha Chunk by Friendly's? We're not big ice cream people, but like once or twice a year, we're like, okay, we're doing ice cream for dinner. That's it.
Ice cream for dinner sounds incredible.
But we just
Um,
just as a treat. But have you ever tried Vienna Mocha Chunk? People out
mm,
there, if you've never tried it, you need to try it. It's a great flavor.
so it sounds similar. I used to work for Baskin Robbins. That was one of
Oh,
my
okay.
first jobs, and they have
The mocha
Jamaican.
fudge, right?
Yes, yes,
Jamaican
yes.
mocha fudge. I
Yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
flavor.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, this is weird.
So maybe
Yeah.
similar,
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
that.
It's like chocolate
Like a
with
coffee ice
coffee
cream or
chocolate, yeah, with
something.
little
Yeah.
chocolate chip in it. So we like
Um, Chef's kiss. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, my point being,
Yes.
I think people are not always comfortable sitting down and taking inventory of who they are and what they
Mhm.
love to do. And then also, you can always ask other people, how do you see me? What do you see about
That's a
me?
great
Like ask
approach.
other people because sometimes we can't see ourselves as clearly as other people. People you trust,
Yes.
people you feel comfortable with, not people that are going to tell you, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that. But people who
Or
can see,
projecting.
people who can see you for who you are in terms of the deep parts of who you are in that sense too.
Oh, I love both of those, approaches. The laying out your strengths and all of it.
Everything,
So
just
not even just
everything.
your strengths, everything. When I was doing more career coaching, I would do this exercise with clients where I would have them do it was essentially like, a little mini life review of a period of time, and they would
Mm.
map like the ups and downs, like
Oh,
the
interesting.
document would have like a chart that they could draw the kind of the highs and lows over a period of time, and that helps people to mine like what was happening when things were going really well
Mm.
and what did they like about that period of time, and then when things weren't going so well. So I think in that contrast it helped people, certainly the clients I worked with, realized like, oh, there's a through line here of when things
Ah,
were going really well, I was using my creative gifts or I was
ah.
doing this, or so it helped them to kind of see patterns of the things that were going well, or the strengths versus when they were out of their element. Um,
Or what they were, it sounds to me like what's brilliant about that process is that it's like, look, when you're in a down stage, what are you doing or what are you not doing? When you're in
yes,
upstage, what are you doing or what are you not doing?
yes,
And how do you
yes,
bring that like, that's really interesting to really
yeah.
show people that there's certain things they choose to do or not do when they're not in a good space. And how can
Mhm.
you maintain that thing that you love to do even when you're not in a good space? Like how do you go make yourself work out if you're tired,
Oh
right?
gosh, yes,
Or how do
yes.
you make sure you make food for the next day for the family even though you're exhausted, right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And it was cool with that process. I helped one client see one of the through lines when she compared like the different roles and the parts of her life when she was enjoying. There
Mm,
was this element around community.
mm.
And so it ended up helping her to see that that's a value of hers that's really important to have in her work and personal
Nurtures
life.
her, it nourishes
It
her.
nourishes her, and then she shortly thereafter ended up finding another job that gave more of that, but it was very cool to help her see that that was something that was important to her and how to go and look for that and cultivate more of that. So I love that approach of laying all the puzzle pieces on the table.
Yeah,
That's a cool approach. Yeah, and
yeah,
then
it's
just
helpful.
even yeah, and then the
Well, it's good,
second one
metaphors are great. If you
yes,
can
they
give someone a
are.
metaphor,
Yes.
explain it to them, then the metaphor helps them see, "Oh, that's what we're trying to do here. That's where you're trying to set things up." So I think metaphors in life are kinda cool things.
Are really powerful,
Yeah,
really, really powerful.
yeah,
I love that. Okay, so, um, what you have so much on your plate, like, both the business and the family and the creative projects,
yeah.
and, of course, we live in a wacky world that seems to be getting wackier by the moment.
Oy.
Um, yeah, how do you stay lit up inside?
I would say sometimes I'm not lit up inside.
I love that answer.
Sometimes
That's
I'm
a
not.
real answer.
Sometimes I'm not, it's tough.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that my will to create a life that is lit up is
Mm.
always there. It's
I love
always
that.
there. It's a matter of sometimes, like, we all have downtimes. So I would say the thing that lights me up is when how do I stay lit up? I think what I'm learning is that it's about being we all hear this all the time. It's about being present and
Yeah.
responding and being calm and something. But I think one of the things that I've learned is not to attach emotions to
Mm.
things that are happening.
Ooh.
Like I've noticed for myself, I call myself a passionate person and, sometimes I can say, "Mom, it's okay, it's enough," that's like a little too much or whatever. Um, but this is one of the things actually that Jamie's been a good teacher for me for. Well, he will keep himself pretty level
Mm.
no matter kind of what's going on. Whereas I grew up in a very emotionally reactive family. So the normal thing to do was to attach an emotion or to react
Yeah,
to things, whether it was good, bad, happy, sad, whatever it was. There was always an emotion attached to it.
I relate to
So I
that.
think what I'm really learning how to stay lit up is to step back more and detach. One of the things I'm working on is detachment
That's the
and
word that came to mind,
yeah,
attachment.
not tying, giving an emotion to what's happening. Like it's really like,
Mhm.
uh, something happened with my son's business partner the other day that he was just so chill and calm,
Mhm.
and I got off the phone and I was like, "What the?" Mama bear starts to come out like, "Give me that guy's number, man. I'm over there.
Where is
Get
he
me on
at?
a plane." He was really chill, and that's what I'm learning that I need to do is like not to attach an emotion to what's happening.
Mm.
And it's also what's great is that I always thought emotions gave me power, but I'm realizing is that the emotions are draining me. They're not really empowering me. Even if it's
Mm.
happy or really happy or whatever. Not that you can't
Right.
get happy and stuff, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying in business mostly. In business, it's really important because there's always ups and downs. I mean, in life too, but in business, there's always, the shit's gonna hit the fan at times. Like
Yes.
how are how to stay detached and in the moment and taking action, right? Moving your feet but not moving your feet with emotions, just moving your feet.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's how I would say I've been working to stay lit up. That's been giving me some peace. And right now at my age
Mm.
too, I think it's really about finding peace right now. It's really about finding peace,
Oh my
you know?
goodness. Yeah, I
So it's not so much about
love
being lit up because I've done a lot of things that have lit me up or lighted me up. It's
Yes.
really about, you know, finding that peace.
Mm.
So I hope that answers your question a little bit.
Oh, beautifully. And I love just reflection on how detachment has helped you.
Very
And
much
that's,
so.
yeah, that's a lesson that I've had to learn the hard way because I am also very passionate
We're
and
women.
right? And in my mind, because again, like having a creative mind and like being intellectual or
Well,
having,
yeah,
strong intellect are not a good combination at times because you
I
can
hear you.
imagine the worst of anything,
Yeah.
or your mind just takes you down a rabbit hole.
Mm,
And so I've just learned really through my grief journey, I had
mm,
to learn that I don't have full control. None of us
mm.
do. And so that brought me to this place of detachment that I am not in full control of everything, and that's okay because there is a bigger a source, a bigger plan at place that is orchestrating things
Yeah.
outside of my even awareness, and that things are going to be okay even
Yeah.
when they don't look like they're going to be okay. They're
Yeah.
ultimately going to be okay, and
Yeah.
and going to work
They're
out for
gonna
my
be what they're
highest
gonna
good.
be,
They're going to be what they're going to be.
and it's not always
um
okay, but they're gonna
yeah,
be what they're
it's
gonna
not
be.
always okay in the moment. It's not always
Yeah.
okay on the moment. That's a good distinction.
Yeah.
But I find that at the end of the day, for me, I'm like, okay, even when they're not okay, it's
Yeah.
still serving me in some way, even if it's down the line or I can't see it at the moment. Um, and
But
I
I think
like
the way
to,
that it serves you, I think the way it serves you is that it teaches you how to be detached and how to be in that without getting into that other mentality that's gonna bring you down in a way that is
yeah,
gonna drain the crap out of you.
in
So
the
to me, it's like
muck.
that's what I'm finding those like, they always say, "Oh, there's always a blessing behind the crisis," or whatever, and I think what I'm finding the blessing being is that it's how I'm going to respond, and can I stay centered
Oh,
as it's happening?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's funny when you were talking about emotions and not being weighed down, whether it's positive or negative. One of the and I'm going to share this. I'm still trying to get all of the downloads
Mm,
organized and out, but I received one that was really beautiful around emotions and how they're really meant to just w- almost be information for us, like a barometer
yeah,
for us of, is this something that aligns with me or not?
alignment. There we
It's really
go.
a barometer for alignment, and we're not meant to hold on to these emotions or even wear them as if they're who we really are. They're just really meant to flow through us and give us information so we then can respond appropriately, not
Yeah.
react from the
Right.
emotion. Yeah. So,
And I love the word the react
mm,
is like re and then dash act. You're doing something over and over and over again when you
mm.
react. I that's not mine. I'm somebody else. I mean, I've read so many
Yeah.
different people, listened to so many people, but I don't take credit for stuff that's not mine.
Right, right,
But
same.
I love that. I love that. I think it was actually Michael somebody, can't remember now, but the fact of reacting means you're just doing the same behavior,
Yeah,
the
it's a
same thing over and over
cycle.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. And so that's very cool that now in your life you are looking not necessarily to stay lit up all the time, but to be at peace, and that's a beautiful place. Like there's
Yeah.
something about that, and I can relate being, you know, in the stage where I've left corporate, I've done all the chasing and the climbing, and now I
Yeah.
have a son who is a young adult. I very much resonate with that, Allie, that
Yeah.
I am just looking to be fully expressed in my life
Yes.
and to be at peace.
And I think too, I mean, when you say lit up, I think what gets me excited is when you have the opportunity to really, like you said before, be authentic, be
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Be like that. That feels really good. To
Mhm.
be able to just have those moments where you can just, oh, this is who I am right now.
This
This is
is
good.
yeah. And
This is good.
yes, yes. I love it. And it is good.
Mhm.
And I hope that people take just the beautiful goodness, all the richness from our conversation. How can people find and stay connected with you?
Well, our website is iseekunique.com, ISEEK unique.com. My email is Ali Schuyler. I actually professionally go by the name Schuyler, Skylar.
Ah,
So Ali
okay.
Schuyler sucky2soulful@gmail.com. I also have a blog site called Sucky to Soulful, which has been around for about 10 years, where you can find my blogs. Whereas another creative outlet for me was writing my blogs. I put a personal growth course together, and also my musical is on that site. And if anybody is looking to produce a musical, I'm always interested. Would love to talk to you.
Yes.
Please feel free to contact me.
Yes, find her.
Because I am looking for like a producer, investors, people that can help me get it up. So.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
love that.
thanks for
From
that.
your lips to the universe.
Yay!
Well, as always, I always have so much fun when I get to talk to you. And I so appreciate you spending time with me and just sharing your perspective, sharing your wisdom with the world.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way about you. It's always a great conversation. I always feel like, I get lit up when we have conversations. No, I do, because we both pull out some cool things from each other.
Yeah.
So there's an example of me getting lit up. This was a lit up experience. So thank you so much for that.
I love it. I love it. My pleasure. Thank you again. And thank you for everyone listening and watching.
Yes, definitely.
Take care. Bye.